up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up.
Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with head coach Scott Langer. Coach, appreciate you taking some time to join us here. Before we get into the weekend and the games and so on, wanted to touch on a little bit on top prospects, because of course last week we had Coach Bone on, and you were over with the boys, watching and so on. And what kind of an experience is that, as a coach, being able, I would imagine there's a lot of scouts and so on there that are taking that opportunity to watch players and so on. What all goes on from behind the scenes, I guess?
Well, it's a good opportunity, for a coach to really do some networking and talk about your players that are there, and also that your players that are back here that didn't get the nod to go and participate in the top prospects. But usually I'm coaching one of those teams, and it was just kind of nice to be able to sit back and talk about our players and just utilize that time to make sure they knew that we had some pretty solid hockey players playing in that tournament.
For sure. Well, I know I saw some statistics where it looks like the NAHL is on pace to set a record for commits this year, so that's awesome, and obviously top prospect's a big part of that. Coach, Friday and Saturday night here at the OD Ice Center against the Austin Bruins, the ice seemed tilted for two periods on Friday night. The Bruins end up coming back in the third and winning that one 5-3. Pretty disappointing one, I would imagine. But the boys bounced back. I've talked about resilience and the tenacity of these guys, and it was great to see them come out and really play a good defensive game, particularly, I thought anyway, on Saturday night. What do you take away from the weekend?
Well, we played really good hockey for 40 minutes on Friday night, and then all of a sudden we started to get off course of what we're good at, and we got away from it. So that and some untimely goaltending certainly didn't help us. And against a team like Austin, you got to be perfect for 60 minutes, or they're going to come in the back door and do what they did. And it's just unfortunate we let those 2 points get away, because I think in the end, when you nearly need them, you're going to wish you would have found a way to get them. So, but moving into Saturday, our guys, obviously that's a tough way to lose a hockey game. And, at this age level, your guys can certainly mope around and let it carry on the second night. But I thought our guys put in a great effort on Saturday. With Kevin Fitzgerald getting out there and getting us on the board right away, and obviously the power play clicking with a game-winning goal from Logan Genuine.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, you mentioned something about getting away from things that you do well. I had mentioned previously, I guess, against, for example, Bismarck, but it does seem to me that when this team is playing its best is when there is some fluidity and movement, a lot of movement, and being able to use the ice. And it seems like against Bismarck, when they have a way of being able to push it out to the walls and kind of take away some of that movement. Do you think that's accurate?
Well, no, our problem isn't scoring goals by any means or anything like, attacking off the rush. All that stuff's pretty good. And, when we get away from it defensively, is when it catches up to us. We make a bad read off a forecheck, and, they come down on an odd man rush, start the scoring off. Or, you get beat out of the corner defensively in defensive zone, they go up top, and, then the one that, goes in from the blue line. I guess I never looked at it that way. Obviously when our guys are going, they're a pretty good hockey team.
Yeah.
But you're up against some really talented kids in this division, and
sure.
They're going to have their nights as well. But
Yeah.
we just have to be consistent with our effort and stick to what we're good at. And I think if we do that, we'll win more games than we lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, a bounce back 2-1 win on Saturday. No changes really in the standings. Minot still on top. You have Wilderness in second, then Brookings, then of course the Aberdeen Wings, and Bismarck in fifth, and at the bottom of the division, Austin. And it's still very tight though, and a lot of they're scrambling. Those teams that are out right now are trying to find any way they can to climb their way into the playoff picture. And you guys got a bit of a rough road ahead with a very good Minnesota Wilderness team. You'll have 2 games there in Cloquet, and then they make the trip to Aberdeen and have 2 games. So for the next 4 straight are against the second place team in the division, and a team that you played well against at times for sure. But that's a pretty big challenge, I would think.
It's if it all played out the way we wanted to, we'd have to see them in the first round anyway, or the second round, I should say. But you know, they're a good hockey team, especially on that surface they have there. It's a big ice surface, and they use it very well. Timmy does a great job having those guys play on it. So, you know, but if we want in, you know, we got to win. It's that simple. I mean, it's up to our guys in this dressing room. That no matter what, we've got to take points. And, you know, the Wilderness are a team that we have to find a way to solve. I mean, they're very good. You know, arguably maybe the best in this division. You know, when they're going, they're a pretty good hockey club. So, you know, we got to find a way. We're going to go up there on Friday and try to salvage something and you know, try to head back here after Saturday with some points.
Absolutely. Well, one final thought, I guess, before we take our break here, is how big is it to be able to get that win before you go on the road? Because that to me, I thought, man, there's a turning point. For example, if you end up you lose 5, and then you win that one, and then you get a pretty big road trip coming up. It's at least nice to be able to come off a win, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you win, it makes you feel good and you know, helps you practice that week.
Yeah.
But you know what? At this time of the year, it's who wants it more?
Yeah.
It really is. It's teams that are just fighting for their life, and Bismarck's playing some really good hockey, and they're you know, if you don't do your job, they're going to be right up in that spot.
Right.
So, you know, it's just a matter of taping it on and going to work and scrounging some points, and that's what we got to do.
All right. Well, of course, as you mentioned, Bismarck, their next 4 are against the Bruins, so an opportunity for them for sure to pick up some points, well, regardless of who plays, because as we've talked about, the parity and every team in this division is a strong team when they're on. Well, Coach, again, congratulations on a win Saturday night, and best of luck coming up against the Wilderness, and thanks for joining us here on Wings Weekly.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back with a couple of players right after this.
Let's make a taco. No, seriously. Start with a tortilla, soft tortilla. Warm it, kiss it. Don't kiss it. Chicken? How about tequila lime chicken? Now we're cooking. Slice this, peel that, snip those. Salsa? Verde. Cheese? Cotija. Oh, forgot to mention. Guac. That's better. See, anyone can make a taco, but we're not anyone. We're Qdoba, and these are knockout tacos. Qdoba Mexican Eats. Choose flavor.
Welcome back to Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with a couple of players who are joining me. I appreciate it, boys. Colton Fletcher and Carson Dimoff. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us here on Wings Weekly and get to know you guys a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, Carson, of course, you're from Scottsdale, Arizona, and Colton from Wasilla, Alaska. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Well, boys, one of the things I'm always kind of curious about is how do you get your start? When did you guys start skating and start playing hockey?
I started when I was 4 years old. My dad played hockey growing up, and that's just kind of how it goes. And all 3 of my sisters played too. My mom did too. So.
Okay. Well, that was actually one of the questions I was going to ask, is how you get a start. Usually it comes from somebody else in your family that's playing, and you kind of just, go into it. How about you, Carson?
I started skating at 3, and my parents are both Canadian, so snowbirds moving down to Arizona, and it just got me into it. So.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, I guess you could say.
Right on. Well, because it's sometimes last year the Wings had a goaltender who didn't start skating until he was like 12, and I just was shocked at that how some kids can progress that fast, and then others, like as you said, skating from 3 years old on, you're practically born with skates on your feet. So it's always something I'm kind of curious about. At what point did you guys decide that you wanted to take that next step and decide to try juniors, because that's a big a big adjustment, moving away from home and stuff.
Yeah, I started 3 years ago when I moved away from home to play 16s. Go out of Alaska, I played in Omaha, Nebraska, and then the following year I played juniors 2 years ago, and I thought it was time just to move up in a different level. 16s going to juniors is a whole different level. A lot of older guys and a lot more maturity in it.
I would imagine, yeah. How about you, Carson?
I'd say about 3 years ago also. I started playing 16s. I was still at home, but that's when I kind of decided I wanted to take it further, and the year after that I moved to Salzburg, Austria. So that was my first year away from home, so it was a bit tough at points, but I feel it helps me out now. Like, it's much closer to home. So.
Oh, without a doubt, that worldly experience. I've got 12-year-olds that are, that, and one of them playing, and it's hard for me to imagine him like just taking off at 14, 15 years old, and it's like, I don't think that he'd be ready for that, but it takes a lot of maturity to be able to handle yourself and so on. And part of the reason I bring that up is because it was, Family Appreciation Night and Billet Night on Saturday night, and a great opportunity, when the videos and everything that you guys put together to say thank you to them and so on. But it's difficult, or maybe not difficult, but it's got its ups and downs for sure, living away from home and being able to go into someone's home and have them basically treat you as family. That's an interesting situation, and you don't really see that in many other sports. So I thought it was pretty cool to be able to get you guys, those video messages to play and get the Billet families together, of course, along with the families that were able to travel or come to town maybe for the first time, meet the Billet parents and so on. So that was kind of a pretty big night. What does it mean to you guys as players?
I think we like to appreciate everything that everyone does for us, and living away from home, these families treat us like family, and they bring us into their homes and let us stay there, and it's really nice of them to do, and thankful for them.
Yeah. Without it, you really don't have a team, because where are you going to put people? So that's again, just wanted to mention that since it was a Saturday night, and great night, and certainly a heartfelt appreciation for all of those that do it. My wife and I were able to Billet 2 years ago, and had a really great experience with it all as well. Where do you guys, obviously, if I'm going to ask you where's your favorite place to play, I'm hoping you're going to say the ODI Center. But how about away? What's the best away barn, where the atmosphere that, maybe it's the rowdiness of the fans, or maybe it's the ice, maybe whatever. Where's your guys' favorite place to play?
I would say my favorite place to play, other than the OD, would be in Bismarck.
Really?
Yeah, I love playing them because, we hate each other, and the fans hate us, and I like getting into it, so I'm pretty competitive there. For sure. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to agree with Carson on that one. It's definitely a lot of fun to play, and the fans get pretty rowdy, and, they yell at you, and you just kind of get your adrenaline more going, and it's a lot more fun against them.
Oh, well, I don't know why. I was kind of expecting that, but kind of not, because it's like, it gets a little, edgy, and some of them get almost downright dirty with the stuff that they're chirping, and they're hanging over the glass, and all that kind of stuff, or when you're in the penalty box and things, and it almost seems like it could be a distraction. But it's kind of cool to hear you guys say that it actually gets the adrenaline going, and you kind of take it to another level. What's the worst part of a road trip for you guys? Is it the bus ride itself, or the hotel accommodation? What do you just dread when it comes to?
I'm saying. Well, so after our Friday night, we will be sleeping in the hotel, and Saturday, teams like to boot us out early of the hotel, so we have to spend basically the entire day waiting for the game in a bus or a hotel lobby, and it's just, you feel so unorganized, you feel so uncomfortable, and it's just feels like forever you're waiting for the game.
I'm gonna have to agree with that, because they just try to get you off your game by doing that, and it's not classy, and it sucks really, just having to sit there for 8 hours.
Fuels the fire though. So.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, once you actually get to the barn and then you go through the warm-ups, then your routine
everyone gets all fired up.
Excellent. Well, one other question here for you guys. I won't keep you too long, but when you go on a road trip, since again we got a 2-game roadie coming up, what's something that you have to take with you? That is there maybe a good luck charm or something, a pillow, whatever, something that you just cannot forget at home, otherwise you're just off?
Probably my same suit.
Yeah?
Can't bring different clothes on a road trip. Same suit.
Well, it's not the first time that we've heard about superstition in hockey locker rooms, that's for sure. That actually leads me to another question. How about you, Carson? Is there anything in particular that you take with on every trip?
I have, of course, the team has the hand, so we got to bring that. Mostly Kelly or Britt's in charge of that, but I have sounds weird, but I have orange juice that I bring. So I gotta bring an orange juice to a game.
Right on. Right on. All right, well, hey, since you brought up the suit, superstitions, you guys have any? Is there anything that...
I got a lot.
A lot of them?
I got a lot.
Plenty.
Well, let's hear some.
One of them, I can't touch a goalie on a game day.
Really?
Yeah, get dressed same way.
Can't touch a goalie in a game.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a new one for me. I haven't heard that.
Everything in my stall's got to be the exact same. Nobody can move anything. Nobody can touch my stick outside, like tape job or anything. I like them in the same spot. Carry my sticks on the same way out on the ice. Do the same warm up every day.
You're right. You got a bunch of them.
That's only about half.
How about you, Carson?
I always like to do my left side first when I do my equipment, so left skate, left elbow pad, left shin, whatever. And see what else.
That was one of Gretzky's too, wasn't it?
I think so.
I think that was. I think I read that once, and I know he
I
always had
just
to
do
have
it by
that.
habit, not because I think
Yeah.
about it. It's
Yeah.
just more-
Yeah.
Just something you kind of always got into, and it worked once, so you just keep
Yeah.
doing it.
And
Feels right.
on game day, I don't know if anyone would know this, but we always have our sticks on this side of the wall, so
Right?
I have to be that guy and put it on the other side. And
The nonconformist right here, ladies and gentlemen.
And after warm-ups, you warm up the same, you try and do everything the
Yeah.
exact same. And after warm-ups, me, Murphy, and Bagwell, not a kiss, but we got our masks on, so we just give a little peck, bubble kiss we call it. So
I think I saw that in Brookings that some of the travelers or Wings fans that made the trip over were hooting and hollering.
yeah,
All right, boys. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us here a little bit on Wings Weekly and let the fans and people that watch get a little insight into what your game day is like and what road trips are like for you guys and all that kind of stuff. So appreciate it and kick some butt here this weekend, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that'll wrap it up for Wings Weekly. Remember, folks, we've got Friday and Saturday games. They're in Cloquet against the Minnesota Wilderness. You can hear those games on 94.1 The Rock and on HockeyTV.com. Also on HubCityRadio.com, and I believe the games will be broadcast on Buffalo Wings and Rings TVs as well. So stop down and check them out. That'll wrap it up for this week's Wings Weekly.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my